What made you lose respect for someone? I cut ties with a male friend, and in turn lost several through his connections. This went on for about 4 years before I cut ties with him. 1. He wanted to hang out, but I'd always pay. 2. We were ultimately pawns for him to feel good. 3. Didn't respect neither time, nor other resources. Final straw came when I, through another friend, found out he knew about my ex's cheating a full year before I did. My former best friend started dating a married man while I was going through a divorce. The divorce was after my ex was caught cheating with a neighbor. She later became friends with that neighbor. Everyone ended breaking up. Never saying thank you or showing appreciation for the things done. You're the son, you're supposed to grow up and provide for me. Man doesn't even have a savings account. And I was 14 when this was first said and still continues to be said. My now ex-husband telling me, you know, nobody likes you. If they act like they do, they're just being polite. I mean, who does that? Bailed last minute on our student house for second year. One of the other guys, B, already had, and he, O, knew it, but O waited till after half of us had paid the holding fees, not a lot of money, about £20 each, but that isn't the point. O had genuine reason to do so, but the way he went about it was just a massive fuck you to all of us, and it took him weeks before he actually explained the reason to us. B immediately covered half the holding fee we'd each paid, having spoken to O and them agreeing to pay us, without any mention of either of them needing to do so, and apologized, and got us around that evening. Never heard anything close to an actual apology from O, and B ended up trying to cover O's half. We all refused point blank, cause we hadn't seen a penny from him. A few weeks later O was drunk and in a bad mood, and me and him got into an argument. He dragged one of our other friends, a very nice girl that always went out of her way to help you out, into it, and started being incredibly harsh to her, and venting a load of shit at her. Being a dick to me was fine, I'd earned it, but saying shit to her was totally unnecessary, and a cunt move. In the end, very glad we weren't stuck living with O for a year. Miserable little prick, always blamed others for not being happy and twisted everything to make us the bad guys, and called us all pathetic idiots for actually enjoying our time at uni, just because he wasn't. Edit, I know his behavior was a sign of him having shit going on, and I won't go into details, but we really did do our best to support him. But we each had a limit to how many times he would throw it back in our faces, before we gave up trying. A college history professor who claimed that Russia changed their capital back to St. Petersburg after the fall of the USSR. When a deputy wants to make friends rather than actually discipline a kid. Expanded below. I was teaching and was doing sport outside of school, bowling, with students. We were at a venue that had arcade games, and it was a rule of the business that students do not play the games. Anyway, we had students who at school were notorious for being poorly behaved. I suggested that not be allowed to go at all, but that didn't happen. Anyway, I noticed they were playing a game and I told them to stop. They didn't, so I ended up having to get another teacher to intervene. The kid insisted of getting prize for the games he played. I said no, as did the workers. This was because he knowingly spent his money knowing he was allowed to do this. His behavior got so bad I called the school to have him taken back. The deputy came to get him. He was abusing disabled people at the cafe, which he also wasn't allowed to go in, venue rules. She argued with the staff about of his prizes paid out, as he spent $40 on a game card. I have a prosthetic eye. When my dad and I were discussing the way Trump mocked a reporter with disabilities, he said that it was fair game because the guy was asking stupid questions. So I asked, if you didn't know me and we disagreed, would you immediately bring up my eye? And he said yeah, of course. All respect for him was gone and I'll never look at him the same. She cheated on me. When I found out they refused to vaccinate, the usual stuff, polio, measles, mumps, etc., their kids. Deleted. When someone gossips, I just know they are going to turn around do the same thing to me. When Tyra Sanchez went on a slander/hate parade. 1. told a fan that she didn't care that they were suicidal because she has her own problems to deal with, and told all of her fans to stop tweeting her about their problems. 2. Faked Morgan McMichael's death online by linking an obituary that seemed to be of Morgan's face, but it took those that clicked to her SoundCloud page. 3. She was banned from DragCon after making threats against Tatiana and Fifi O'Hara by putting up a countdown clock in her website titled BOOM and made others worry of a potential bomb threat. 4. She also attacked and berated a lot of Drag Race fans and fellow contestants along the way. They referred to a black man as a N-word and won't eat Chinese food in case they catch COVID from it. Utterly disgusting comments about gay people too within the same chat. So very sad to lose a friend, but I can't tolerate that. Them supporting Trump. Intense superstitious belief in religion, nationalism, etc. makes you 3/4 of an adult in my eyes until you prove otherwise. Removed. When I was young I had an older friend, I'ma call him H for the story. We used to play Roblox and talked on Discord. But then H just showed me porn. I showed how much I hated it and my discomfort to it, and I think H just laughed. Few days later, it happened again and H showed me more porn, and I just ghosted the guy. An ex-manager throwing his direct reports, me and my colleagues, under the bus and blaming shit that was his fault on us to try and weasel out of a bollocking from his, admittedly shitty, manager. I've never been more disgusted with a human in a work context. Needless to say, I didn't stay there much longer. They said the insurrectionists didn't go far enough. Absolutely disgusted me. Unfortunately, I'm related to the person, so can't completely cut them out of my life. My mom and dad owned our house together. We had this house for 3 generations. After they got a divorce, my dad had to pay my mom a bit of money so he could keep the house. My mom refused to take all of the money, I think it was around $300K, as long as I could keep living on the first floor, 3 rooms, kitchen, bathroom, and keep going to university, as I surely didn't have enough money for my own place at the time. My father agreed, but sold the house 1 year later and bought a new house with his new girlfriend. So, in the end, my mom didn't got the money and I couldn't keep living there. My whole family is pissed at my dad, mainly because he sold the around 100-year-old house and I had to switch universities. Totally lost all my respect for my father. Finding out a coworker was a fundamentalist. Ugh. When my mom called and reamed me because I set up my brother, who is white, with one of my friends, who is black. My whole life, she taught us to accept everyone and love everyone and treat everyone the same regardless of differences, so when that happened, it floored me. She still says some pretty outrageous stuff, but it doesn't floor me as much anymore. I'm now used to it. Ugh. Edited to fix some grammar stuff that was bothering me. When my best friend banned every member from my Discord server. A friend of mine told her ex she was pregnant and aborted it, none of which was true. Every ounce of respect I had for her was gone in an instant. The thought of her still makes my skin crawl almost 20 years on. My friend got blackout drunk and swung on my other friend's GF, missed, then shoved her down. Her boyfriend then choke slammed my drunk buddy into a hot tub. I let him choke the guy for a few seconds before pulling him off. All this started because my drunk friend accused my buddy's girl of hating his dog, because it was sick and she put a blanket on it. They were all roommates, and after that incident they told me he had also gotten incredibly drunk a few nights ago, and pointed his AR-15 at another friend hanging out at the house as a joke. We sat him down the next day and told him that we loved him but he had to move out. Haven't spoken to him since. This was a Dark Heresy 2nd edition campaign on Roll20. First game session, he ends up killing 2 of the players because they wouldn't obey him. Game turned really awkward and I ended up having his character killed off because the Inquisitor didn't trust him. He didn't really have a justification other than it's what my character would do, to which I replied, well, I guess my character would kill you for this since you can't be trusted and are unstable. Having learned from GMing games for over 10 years, you don't remove agency from other players. That's just a dick move. Dude sexually harassed his girlfriend. She didn't press charges though. When you have grandkids and you all but ignore them, no respect. I lost respect for our Prime Minister when she broke COVID restrictions, and her response was, "But it's so hard to keep up."